You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Today we've got an exclusive interview with Jasmine Kyle from the Southeast Kansas Humane Society.
It is indeed Veterans Day, and what a glorious afternoon we will have to celebrate those who have served and are serving our nation. We'll have the latest from the Skywatch Weather Center.
But first, Newton County hosts an event at the courthouse in NEOSHO to honor our nation's veterans. All that and more coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thanks for joining us for the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Tanya Bach. If you are a customer of the Joplin wastewater system, prepare to pay more. The city will raise its rate by 5% starting January 1st. Rate study conducted last year recommended the increase. Joplin Health Department is trying an incentive to get more people vaccinated. The department is using funds from the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services to offer gift cards to some folks who get a COVID-19 shot. People who get their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine will receive a $50 Visa gift card. And then when they return for a second dose, they'll receive another $50 gift card. The incentive program kicks off today with a clinic at the health department that runs from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Veterans Day is today, but Newton County decided to honor our nation's heroes a little early. The county hosted an event at the county courthouse in NEOSHO last night. David Osborne served as a guest speaker. He's a retired Army National Guard sergeant and current county commissioner. Thank you. Well, the EDNA mattress factory in EDNA, Kansas is open again after a fire destroyed the factory back in June. No one was hurt, and the nearby retail facility was spared. The company president was miles away when he got the call that the factory was burning.
From about 10 miles, I could see the smoke, and man, my heart just sunk, because I thought, oh my God. But the good news is we saved the south 2 buildings and able to, reload and get new equipment and start over.
The mattress factory is a longtime fixture in EDNA. Hildebrand says he's been there close to 40 years. Community Foundation of Southeast Kansas celebrates all the grants they handed out this year. The foundation provides funds for charitable projects in Southeast Kansas. At their annual grant celebration, officials announced they handed out more than $232,000 in grants this year.
It's always incredible to hear the individual stories on what each one of these grants has done to help individuals in our community. When it has a personal touch and that's affecting lives in a very deep manner, it's rewarding to hear that money has gone to a very good cause.
The foundation also plans to match $47,000 in funds on November 30th for Match Day. An organization is trying to create more affordable transportation in Southwest Missouri. Healthy Nevada created the Rides to Health and Wealth Project, a volunteer-led transportation network. Officials say the goal of the project is to provide more transportation opportunities in rural areas.
I just can't say enough that the transportation services we do have are at capacity, and so this is to build more access. And we like to use the adage that you can teach a man to fish and he'll eat forever, but the question is, does he have access to the pond?
Healthy Nevada Innovation Center is located at 212 West Walnut Street. Krispy Kreme is mixing traditional Thanksgiving flavors with its donuts this year. The company has released 4 new treats for a limited time, including, oh, I'm excited about this one, a pecan pie donut. It's a Krispy Kreme original glazed donut dipped in butter tart filling and sprinkled with candied pecans and pie crust crumbles. There's also a Dutch apple pie donut. It's stuffed with apple pie filling and dipped in caramel icing, topped with cinnamon. What's Thanksgiving without some cranberry? Krispy Kreme's third autumnal donut is filled with cranberry and dipped in cranberry orange icing. Lastly, there's the Gobbler donut. It's a chocolate icing donut shaped like a heart, decorated with chocolate cream and topped with Thanksgiving sprinkles and a turkey face. But don't worry, no turkey flavoring.
We all just gained 10 pounds listening to you read that story.
Did I sound excited at all?
I was really happy about your last line. I thought you were going to tell me, because I saw your story earlier about Arby with the infused liquor that tastes like their French fries. I love Arby's French fries, don't get me wrong.
But why?
I'm glad that Krispy Kreme is not.
Somebody clearly at 2 a.m. was not ready to finish drinking and decided to go to Arby's and made a combination and thought it was good, but they were wrong. I'm just saying, they were wrong.
You can touch on that one with a 10-foot
Krispy Kreme, you've got it going with these donuts.
Thank you. Marcos was like, no, I'm not going next to that story.
No.
Live look outside of Television City. The glow cloud is going to give us a glorious morning. First time all week we haven't had to fight the cloud cover. Now, sans cloud cover, all our warmth from yesterday after the thunderstorm activity cleared out, we dropped pretty low right now, so we range anywhere from 40 to 45. We even lost our 46s that were up on the board. And as far as what it feels like, we haven't dropped into the 20s, but we came close. We're rebounding right now. We're sitting at 35. That sun will warm us up pretty quickly. Skywatch Storm Tracker, clean and clear as a bell. As a matter of fact, all the rain as it rolled through overnight, some good thunder and lightning right there, has now moved on the other side of the Mississippi. So it took off pretty fast. Early this morning, it was actually riding the river all the way up and just kind of mimicked it. And it'll continue to push toward the Tennessee River and Ohio River valleys here as it progresses through Thursday. But on the backside of that, yeah, it's colder temperatures, but it's high pressure, which means sunshine here really for not only all of today, but even with a little Friday morning rain, nothing like what we had last night. We're going to have more sunshine tomorrow as well. A hearty thank you from all of you who are serving and who have served in our armed services on this Veterans Day. Thank you does not seem like enough, but it is a sincere thank you from the bottom of our hearts here at KFJX, Fox 14, and KOAM, as we will have sunny skies and close to 60 degrees for those of you participating in parades, ceremonies, anything to say thank you to our veterans. West wind will be at 10 to 15 miles per hour and at times gusts up to 25. Little late night cloud cover and then a little early morning shot of rain rolls in from the northwest down to the southeast. Won't have the thunder and lightning we had yesterday. Majority of it's going to fall along and south of I-44. You'll see some out here in the western portion of southeast Kansas and down to the south by the state line as it progresses through. But then we clear off. Big factor is going to be for Friday night into Saturday. If you've got Friday night plans, I know we've got a slew of high school football games going on for those of you in playoffs, and it's going to be cold out there. That's what I'm going to say right now. That's the actual temperature. We're going to drop down below the freezing mark. Cool weekend ahead, but more sunshine on Saturday. Then we'll pick up a little light scattered rain on Sunday.
Coming up next, women who served in Iraq and Afghanistan say they now face a higher risk of breast cancer due to exposure to burn pits. We'll explain. And later, movies with veteran themes set to debut in the Hollywood Minute. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. An alarming rise in breast cancer among military veterans is reigniting concern about burn pits on overseas military bases. Women who served in Iraq and Afghanistan say they now face a higher risk of cancer from exposure to the pit's toxic fumes. Some studies show the rates of breast cancer among women in the military are 20 to 40% higher. As CBS's Natalie Brand shows us, it can also be a fierce fight to get benefits to help with treatment.
Morning! Marine veteran Kate Hendricks Thomas never imagined a battle with stage 4 breast cancer, a reality she's had to share with her 7-year-old son.
I'm proud of you. We've started to tell him the truth that, mommy has a terminal condition and it is going to kill her, but that she'll always be with you.
The 41-year-old learned of her diagnosis 4 years ago, more than a decade after returning from Iraq.
I was seeing my nurse practitioner for an annual exam, and she said, I want you to go get a mammogram based on where you've been stationed. The radiologist said it looked like I'd been dipped in something.
Hendricks Thomas didn't realize danger had been lurking on base in the form of burn pits, commonly used on overseas bases to get rid of waste.
I was 25 years old and I felt like I was invincible. You know that feeling when you're that age? I wasn't concerned at the time about any exposure risk.
You were concerned about surviving.
Exactly.
When you burn hazardous materials, that you have hundreds of toxic chemicals that can be inhaled into a person's body. And even now,
California Congressman Raul Ruiz, who's also a doctor, has been working on bipartisan legislation to make it easier for veterans to access benefits by including a range of cancers among the illnesses that are considered to have a presumed link to burn pits.
right now, the VA puts the burden of proof on the veterans.
Currently, veterans have to prove a direct connection. Hendricks Thomas, who also has a PhD in healthcare, says it took her 3 years for her claim to finally get approved after it was initially denied.
There is a true cost to war, and part of it is handling the veterans' benefits and healthcare when people come home.
She's now focused on helping to change the system for others and cherish her time with family.
Move, guys.
Natalie Brandt, CBS News, Alexandria, Virginia.
When the VA was asked about how many burn pit-related cancer claims have been proved to date, they could not provide an answer by the story's deadline. A pair of diamond bracelets, once owned by Marie Antoinette, sold for $8.2 million. The sale smashed estimates. Christie's auction house predicted the bracelets would fetch up to $4 million. The bracelets boast 140 to 150 carats of diamonds. It's believed Marie Antoinette paid what would be equivalent to $4.6 million for them. Now, during the French Revolution, she sent them out of the country for safekeeping. Christie said they had been kept in a private royal collection for more than 2 centuries.
Fascinating story because nobody knows who the seller was. Simply a European royal family.
Beautiful, though.
You know, she borrowed money from King Louis to pay for them?
Really?
Yeah. I've got one for you, for those of you that are not familiar with Tanya's, I'm going to call it what it is, addiction to the royal family.
I figured you'd say obsession, but that's
right. And we have been doing a lot of coverage on the Queen, and as far as her health goes. Mm-hmm. There was a bracelet that was in the same auction. Do you know whose bracelet that was, Miss Bach?
Was it Queen Elizabeth's?
It was a who?
Was it Queen Elizabeth's?
It was not. It was not. It was a bracelet that actually didn't sell at auction. It was expected to go for $2 million.
Oh.
She was, at one point in time, a jewelry icon.
A jewelry icon?
Yes. She received it on her first wedding anniversary. Her first wedding anniversary was significant because her husband was no longer the king.
And she's an American.
Wallace Simpson's bracelet did not sell.
Okay, just to let you guys in on something a little bit here. While I may have an addiction to the royal family, somebody else might have an obsession with Wallace Simpson.
That is true. And you used the perfect word. I am obsessed with Wallace Simpson and the fact that if it were not for Wallace Simpson, we do not have the royal English family that so many of you concentrate on today.
True that.
It's absolutely true. We would not have any problem with what Meghan Markle, and what they did if it weren't for one American by the name of Wallace Simpson. It is absolutely fabulous. 43 degrees is where we stand over 7th and Rangeline right now. What a glorious Veterans Day we're going to have. Plenty of sunshine and temperatures that are going to work up into the 60s, but I'll tell you what, still quite cool at the time, anywhere from about 40 to 46 degrees. Wind chills slowly catching up to our actual temperature, for the most part sitting in the mid-30s. But as that wind has shifted, remember past several days as it came in from the south, now working from the north-northwest, providing us with a temperature change compared to where it was at 7:15 on Wednesday morning, a 20-degree drop across the majority of the 4 states. Our thunderstorm activity has now worked all the way on the east side of the Mississippi River, providing us with sunny skies for any Veterans Day activities you have, ceremonies, parades. Then get ready for a cool weekend and overnight lows dipping below the freezing mark on Friday and Saturday. We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 right after this. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It's been a while since we checked in with our good friend Jasmine Kyle, the Executive Director of the SEK Humane Society. Jasmine, thank you so much for your time this early in the morning. I know you are swamped. I want to start with the fact that things are kind of getting back up and running because your team has to deal with a number of issues because your ultimate goal is find pets homes, but also to keep your animals safe. Kind of give us an idea of the lay of the land and what's going on out there.
Yeah, so just like hospitals, we do not discriminate upon intake. So if somebody's sick when they come in, we do treatment. If somebody has a broken leg, we do surgery and everything that animal needs. So from time to time, we deal with viral infections, just like with humans when they get colds. But as of right now, as of today, November 9th, we are opening back up canine adoptions. All the dogs are doing fantastic for the time being. And then for cats, we're going to keep on hold just for a little while so they can get those sniffly noses all up. But everybody is getting treatment, and we are very happy at how things are proceeding forward at our shelter.
So excellent. Now that adoptions are going to get rocking and rolling again, and as we approach the holidays, I know a lot of people each and every year, they think about possibly having a rescue, an adopted pet, as a wonderful holiday gift. But before we jump to that, what are some of the things that I need to take into consideration for myself and my family before I decide to pull that trigger and find that new home?
Yeah, so the biggest thing we recommend, we know it's always a wonderful thing to get a dog on Christmas, right? On Christmas, that day, like a puppy in a box. We don't personally recommend that because think of yourself in that dog's position. You've never been to that house before. And all of a sudden on a very high energy day, and who's there on Christmas? It's other people that those animals have never met. It can be very stressful at times. So we always would rather recommend that animals and people, they look into a week to two before those holidays, right? That way individuals can meet said animal. If the parents are wanting to get a dog for kids, a nice meet and greet at the shelter is a good way to know what animals that those kids are leaning towards. And that way the parents can come out privately on their own time and also do meet and greets to make their final decision. And you can also do trips. We can do foster trips to that house to do, a little meet and greet and see how things will go into that household.
It's merely an early Christmas gift.
Exactly. And the parents, don't worry, you can always play it off of, oh, no, we're just babysitting for the time being. And then on Christmas, by the way, they're staying.
Jasmine, that is tremendous advice. So now that we've kind of got our marching orders from you and we're going to do this correctly and make sure our pet's comfortable, you're doing a first for the SEK Humane Society. I understand you've got what you're calling a virtual adoption going on. Can you kind of explain this to us and how it came to be?
Yeah, so it's a virtual auction event. We have never done this type of fundraiser before, and we kept hearing do an auction. And so we went virtually. This is our first virtual event, large scale wise. It is called Pause for a Cause, and it is going to be next week, November 14th through the 20th. You can find the event with our bidding site on our Facebook page. It's a whole week of bidding. So you have the whole week to monitor what items that you're looking into, and those proceeds will go towards our veterinary bill. So that goes towards medication, surgeries, alterations, everything that we are doing to give these animals the chance at getting better, getting them the help they need, and finding them the homes that they absolutely deserve. We couldn't have done this without so many businesses' help. We have items from Como Jewelry, Rebel Boutique, Dairy Queen, and so many others. We are truly blessed by the community support to help raise funds for these animals.
And so once again, that's going to last from November 14th through the 20th. You can find all the details on the SEK Humane Society Facebook page. And Jasmine, I can't reiterate enough, you talked about how that keeps your animals healthy because when they leave your shelter, they're immunized. Anybody who adopts, you're bringing home an animal that is ready to be a part of your family.
Exactly. All of our animals are already spayed and neutered, they're fully vaccinated, and they're microchipped. And still right to this day, as of November 9th, over 95% of our dogs are sponsored, meaning they have no adoption fee. These dogs
95%?
Yes. They have their bags packed and they are ready to go home.
Once again, Jasmine Kyle, Executive Director of the SEK Humane Society, the online virtual auction running from the 14th to the 20th. Connect with Jasmine and take a look at the pictures. She does a great job of pictures and videos for some future homes on their Facebook page. Jasmine, thank you so much for time this morning. I appreciate it. See you soon.
Sounds good.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News right after this.
It's time now to honor today's four-state hero, U.S. Army Staff Sergeant Alan McKee, who served in the Vietnam War and later spent more than 25 years as a member of the Kansas National Guard. Among his many accomplishments, a Meritorious Service Medal, Army Achievement and Commendation Medals, and the National Defense Service Medal. His hometown, Erie, Kansas. To Staff Sergeant Alan McKee, we thank you. Today's four-state hero. Well, our Veterans Day Entertainment Roundup features two films with military ties. One about a Navy officer who ran for president and the search for Americans who never returned from war. Here's David Daniel with the Hollywood Minute.
It's a leap going from being a mayor to being a presidential candidate. But I realized I had something to offer that was just different.
The documentary Mayor Pete, debuting Friday on Amazon Prime, goes inside the surprising presidential campaign of Pete Buttigieg.
An interesting psychological portrait of what it's like to be an American politician. You know, how do you be yourself and also answer to the news media, to the voters, and remain true? I think that's a fascinating dance that you see Pete go through in this film. And I think it's a historical portrait of a gay couple that we haven't seen in politics before.
An MIA family never puts away the loss of somebody who hasn't been able to return home.
It leaves a void in your mind and heart.
Project Recover searches the ocean depths for thousands of Americans still missing in action from World War II. The documentary To What Remains, premiering at AFI Fest on Veterans Day and releasing widely December 10th, chronicles the efforts of these scientists, historians, and veterans working to give MIA families closure.
You never forget your comrades.
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Special screenings of To What Remains begins on December 7th, 80th anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor. We'll have more info on that at towhatremains.org. Another half hour of news and weather is just ahead. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14, an exclusive interview with two performers from Joplin High School who want to invite the public to a musical this Saturday. But first, it's a cause for celebration as the Community Foundation of Southeast Kansas hands out hundreds of thousands of dollars in grants. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. We'll be right back.
The four states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:31. Let's take a look at today's top stories. If you're a customer of the Joplin wastewater system, prepare to pay more. The city will raise its rate by 5% starting January 1st. Rate study conducted last year recommended the increase. The Joplin Health Department is trying an incentive to get more people vaccinated. The department is using funds from the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services to offer gift cards to some folks who get a COVID-19 shot. People who get their first dose of a COVID-19 vaccine will receive a $50 Visa gift card, and then when they return for a second dose, they'll receive another $50 gift card. The incentive program kicks off today with a clinic at the health department that runs from 9 to 11 a.m. Well, Veterans Day is today, of course, but Newton County decided to honor our nation's heroes a day early. Last night, the county hosted an event at the county courthouse in NEOSHO. David Osborne served as guest speaker. He's a retired Army National Guard sergeant and current county commissioner. The EDNA mattress factory in EDNA, Kansas is open again after a fire destroyed the factory back in June. No one was hurt in the fire, and the nearby retail facility was spared. Company president was miles away when he got the call that the factory was burning.
From about 10 miles, I could see the smoke, and my heart just sunk. You know, because I thought, oh my God. But the good news is we saved the south two buildings and able to, you know, reload and get new equipment and start over.
Mattress factory is a longtime fixture in EDNA. Hildebrand says he's been there close to 40 years. Community Foundation of Southeast Kansas celebrated all the grants they handed out this year. The foundation provides funds for charitable projects in Southeast Kansas. At their annual grant celebration, officials announced they handed out more than $232,000 in grants this year.
It's always incredible to hear the individual stories on what each one of these grants has done to help individuals in our community. When it has a personal touch and you know that's affecting lives in a very deep manner, it's rewarding to hear that that money has gone to a very good cause.
Foundation also plans to match $47,000 in funds on November 30th for Match Day. Organization is trying to create more affordable transportation in Southwest Missouri. Healthy Nevada created the Rides to Health and Wealth Project, volunteer-led transportation network. Officials say the goal of the project is to provide more transportation opportunities in rural areas.
I just can't say enough that the transportation services we do have are at capacity, and so this is to build more access. And we like to use the adage that you can teach a man to fish and he'll eat forever, but the question is, does he have access to the pond?
Healthy Nevada Innovation Center is located at 212 West Walnut Street. People magazine has named actor Paul Rudd the sexiest man alive. Sorry, Michael. Honor was revealed in a comedy sketch with Rudd on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert on Tuesday. Rudd told People he's aware there are many people who should get the honor before him. He's referring to you, Michael. Rudd stars in Sony's Ghostbusters Afterlife, which hits theaters later this month. He's also Ant-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Also, among his nearly 3-decade-long career, he starred in Role Models, which he helped write. He held a feature role as Mike Hannigan on the hit sitcom Friends. And who could forget his breakout role as Josh in Clueless? Yes, with Alicia Silverman.
He has played some just iconic roles. It's funny as all get out, too.
The Sexiest Man Alive issue hits newsstands on Friday.
It's hard to argue because he is so funny. He's a good-looking dude and he's hilarious.
Well, yeah, and I like how he gives the persona as like the regular, like the average Joe, like the regular guy, next door.
It's hard not to love any character that Paul Rudd plays. Live look outside of Television City. We are off to a glorious Veterans Day morning, albeit a cool one. 43 degrees is where we stand over 7th and Rangeline, and these are our actual temperatures ranging between 39 down in Iola all the way up to 46 is what we see in Anderson and Cassville, 45 in Miami, 42 in Pittsburgh. Huge difference though from yesterday as we've got a 20-degree drop from where we were at 7:36 on a Wednesday morning. Skywatch Storm Tracker though, that overnight thunderstorm activity that was quite impressive with the lightning and the thunder, it is now a thing of the past, moving on the other side of the Mississippi. Our rain totals from last night into early this morning ranging anywhere from the light blue, which is about 1/4 of an inch, and you see a little bit of the darker green, about 1 1/10 inch and a quarter, but luckily our streams, creeks, rivers, everything able to absorb it. No flood warnings. A couple storm reports to point out. Number one, we've got limbs down in Labette County. We even had some hail in Montgomery County. And then that report, that's 1.5 inches of rain that we already covered. Look at that, just riding the Mississippi, moving to the east of it, but setting us up for what's going to be a great Veterans Day afternoon. Highs around 60 degrees with sunny skies. And once again, from all of us here at KOAM, Fox 14, KFJX, a huge thank you to all of our veterans who have served our country and are currently serving our country as well. A thank you doesn't seem like enough, but know that it is sincere and comes from the bottom of our hearts. Going to be cold tomorrow night, that's for sure. We're going to drop down below the freezing mark, and we'll be back with more KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 right after this. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. One of the things that's always amazed me about living in the four-state area is the talented thespians that we have, whether it be community theater, whether it be our wonderful college programs, and certainly our high school students with their drama departments. They're just absolutely amazing. And we've actually got a little bit of a combination this morning. Sophie Stovall, who's a junior at Missouri Southern, is on your left. Paisley Franks, they're a senior at Joplin High School, is on your right. And Sophie and Paisley, I want to thank you so much for your time this morning, because we've got everybody loves a musical, right? All right, so you've got an event coming up here next week called All Together Now. I'm going to let you explain. Tell you what, Paisley, I'll start with you, and Sophie, I'll come back to you. Paisley, if you can kind of talk about the importance of how this brings a whole bunch of factions together.
Right, so our Altogether musical review that we're doing right now is bringing in some Joplin High School alumni and bringing us together with the high school students that are currently here, just to have like a little concert together to make money for our department since COVID had hit and we lost a lot of money from that.
And I tell you, that's a great point. Sometimes we forget. A year ago, we couldn't go out and see events. That's why this is so nice to be able to put it together. So Sophie, are you returning to where you formulated your dramatic roots?
I am. I'm so happy and so honored to have been asked back to come back to Joplin High School and perform with some of my friends who have graduated and some of my friends that are still here. Yeah, my love of theater grew into what it is today here in this department, and I'm just so happy that I get to help fundraise and raise money for the department that made me who I am.
Paisley and Sophie too, because you're not too far removed from going to Joplin High School, but Paisley, as a current student who's honing her skills in the drama department, what does it mean for you and your group that people like Sophie and other alumni are taking the time to come back, number one, enjoy a performance of Altogether Now, but also to do this to make sure that the drama department is sustainable for future generations?
It means a lot to all of us over here. I mean, it's definitely getting all of these people to actually come back. It really shows how much they liked our theater department over here. And so it means a lot to us, especially for them, because it's like a lot of time commitment into it. So we really appreciate it.
And folks, I want to reiterate there what Paisley was saying, because not only is it a great fundraiser, but remember, let's take the opportunity and go see all our talented performers now that we're allowed to go back to live events. So the musical review Altogether Now, I'll let one of you give us the particulars about how we get our tickets and when we need to show up.
Right, okay, so
Sophie, I think Paisley's going to handle this one.
Go ahead. Our performance is on Saturday, this upcoming Saturday. It's at 7 p.m. It's only $5 to get in, and you can get the tickets either online at the link in our Facebook or in our Instagram bio, or you can get them at the door.
And once again, it's called Altogether Now, and $5, that's it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, folks, you're not going to find better entertainment on a weekend than that, and you're not going to find more talented performers than what they're going to have out there. Sophie Stovall, junior at Missouri Southern, Paisley Frank, senior at Joplin High School. I want to thank you both so much for your time this morning.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
All right, as I always like to tell our wonderful performers who come on, you do me a favor when Saturday rolls around, break a leg.
Thank you.
We'll be back with more KOM Morning News right after this.
We may have to fork over more dough to feather your nest this winter. Heating bills are expected to rise, with natural gas customers, nearly half the country, paying 30% more. CBS News investigative correspondent Anna Werner has more on what's driving the spike.
To save money, the Knight family in New York bought a Wi-Fi thermostat they can control from their phone.
We upgraded and we got a condensing boiler. I mean, I've definitely noticed that the gas bills are lower.
The U.S. Energy Information Administration forecasts all major home heating bills will increase significantly because of higher fuel costs and potentially colder weather this winter. For the nearly half of U.S. households who heat with natural gas, the cost is expected to rise 30% this year. The 5% who use propane and the 4% who primarily use heating oil will likely see their costs go up 54% more and 43% more. For the roughly 40% of U.S. households who use electricity, prices are expected to increase just a bit, about 6%.
We've seen a very large increase in both natural gas and oil prices.
Halima Croft is the managing director at RBC Capital Markets.
So what's behind the increase in the oil and gas prices? We've had this global reopening from the pandemic, which has driven up demand for both natural gas and oil. Energy companies had cut back on investment in production because of the pandemic and are now struggling to keep up with demand. You've had historically low stockpiles for natural gas, and there are real concerns about, is there enough global supply to meet demand if you have a cold winter for natural gas?
Croft says even if the winter is relatively mild, consumers will see higher prices because the price of energy has gone up. Anna Werner, CBS News, San Francisco.
Well, some simple ways to save, clean, or replace filters and lower your thermostat. which one estimate says will shave off about 2% off your bill for each degree you drop. Some companies also offer incentives for smart thermostats, a furnace, or boiler tune-up or weatherizing your home. We'll be right back with more after this, but first let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
Eliminates.
Yesterday, President Biden traveled about an hour outside of D.C. He went to Baltimore, Maryland, selling the bipartisan physical infrastructure legislation. A mouthful. Members of his cabinet also expected to hit the road to tout the bill's components. Now, at the same time, President also pushing lawmakers to pass his social spending and climate plans. Deborah Alfarone, she's got the latest from the White House.
With the Port of Baltimore as his backdrop in Maryland, President Biden pushed the newly passed $1 trillion bipartisan physical infrastructure bill.
We're set to make significant progress. We're already in the midst of historic economic recovery.
The bill includes $17 billion to modernize ports and strengthen the nation's supply chains. Current bottlenecks have many Americans worried if their holiday gifts will arrive on time.
It's just a hit and miss whether I'm going to get stuff or not. And it's so difficult.
Very soon we're going to see the supply chain start catching up with demand.
The infrastructure deal also offers billions of dollars to fix aging roadways, bridges, public transit, and water pipes, as well as to expand broadband access. The White House cautions it could take some time to get projects up and running.
It's more important to get it right than to rush.
The president is set to sign the legislation on Monday when Congress returns. At that point, the focus will shift to getting his social spending bill, also known as the Build Back Better Act, passed in the House.
We got to build it back better than it was because the world's changing so rapidly.
The nearly $2 trillion plan includes funding for the expanded child tax credit, universal preschool, clean energy, and also paid family leave, which has been a sticking point within the party. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, the White House.
President Biden says he spoke with the CEOs of major retailers Target and Walmart, as well as the heads of FedEx and UPS. And he says they assured him shelves will be stocked for this year's holiday season. Live look outside of the mothership here. What a gorgeous, gorgeous Veterans Day morning that we have. 43 degrees is where we stand over 7th and Rangeline in Joplin. Wind has died down a little bit. You'll notice we've got a wind chill that has dropped to 39 degrees right now in Joplin, with our temperatures ranging from an actual 39 in Iola all the way up to 46 in Cassville. So that's quite a bit cooler than what we've had past couple of days. A 24-hour temperature change that has dropped us in excess of 20 degrees, especially out to the west end of the north. That is not a frozen Skywatch storm tracker. That's the real deal. We just got to go all the way on the other side of the Mississippi to see those thunderstorms that rolled through last night. If you slept through the thunder and the lightning, here's what it equated to. It was rather impressive with the thunder at times. And we got anywhere from quarter to about 1 1/10 of an inch. Certainly no flooding concerns though. As we push through our Veterans Day, and we give all of those who have served and are serving a thank you from the bottom of our hearts here at KFJX. Around 60 degrees with plenty of sunshine for any parades, ceremonies. It's going to be perfect outside. Get ready for a little shot of Friday morning rain, and then get ready for a big shot of some cold weather Friday night into Saturday morning. We'll be back, wrap up this edition of the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14 right after this.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Here's what's happening today. A U.S. District Court late yesterday delivered another setback to former President Trump in his efforts to withhold White House records from a congressional committee investigating the January 6th Capitol assault. The judge denied President Trump's request to pause her own ruling from a day earlier as he appeals the decision. Kyle Rittenhouse took the stand in his homicide trial, saying he acted in self-defense in shootings that left 2 men dead at a protest in Kenosha, Wisconsin last year. The 18-year-old broke down during questioning. The trial was also stopped twice after a line of questioning by the prosecutor angered the judge. Defense attorneys asked for a mistrial. 4 astronauts, including 3 from NASA, are on their way to the International Space Station. Last night's launch brings the number of people who have reached space past 600. That is cool. I wondered where we were at. And the number keeps growing. Thank you, SpaceX.
So Dylan, you just don't want me to do temperatures? You just want me to ad-lib over 7th and range line? Which is cool, man. I can do that. Because it's cool over 7th and range line. It's sitting at about, let's say 43 degrees right now. Wind chill 39. I love you guys in the control room. A Veterans Day forecast that is going to have sunny skies and lift us up around 60 degrees. Little westerly breeze. Little shot of rain early Friday morning. Nothing like what we had last night, though, but get ready for below freezing temps for Friday night into Saturday morning.
Would you like vodka fries with that? That's the question.
This is what I was talking about earlier.
That's the question Arby's has for its customers. Fast food giant is releasing 2 limited edition alcoholic drinks, Arby's Curly Fry Vodka and Arby's Crinkle Fry Vodka. Why? Officials say both vodkas taste like their namesake fries. Curly Fry Vodka includes cayenne, onion, and garlic, while the Crinkle Fry Vodka is produced with kosher salt and sugar. 80-proof potato-based liquor will make its debut on November 18th in a handful of states, including California, Florida, and West Virginia. The price tag for a bottle, about $60.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so, I was saying people must have went there at 2 a.m. Well, I don't know if Arby's is open around 2 a.m. around here. I know it's not in Pittsburgh, so that didn't happen here. Probably why it's not.
There's only one time I use it. Don't mess up my Bloody Marys. They don't want to taste like curly fries. Let us put the good in your morning. We will be back with more news and weather when we see you at noon.
Have a great morning and an even better day.